Hi, Democrats. Today is Tuesday, February 1st, and it's time for the Chair's Daily Live. Happy Tuesday and happy birthday to me. So today's my birthday. You guys are probably a little sick of hearing about it, but I'm super excited about it. I love my birthday. It is my new year. It's when I set my resolutions and plan what I'm going to do for the year. So today, however, I'm here to talk about politics. You're not here to talk about my birthday, to hear about my birthday. So let's talk about today is also the first day of Black History Month. Today is the first day of Black History Month. And so it's been going on since I've been alive, since I've been aware. And since I've been alive and since I've been aware, I've heard folks say, why do we need a Black History Month? Why are we segregating months by race and ethnicity? And why are we making everything special? And I'm reminded today why. You know, today is the first day of Black History Month, and historically Black colleges and universities all over our nation are being threatened. They're being threatened with violence today in recognition of Black History Month. Black History Month started in 1926 as Negro History Week. And it was started by Carter G. Woodson and a couple other folks. And they wanted it to be a week because they wanted it to be something that could be repeatable, something that could be honored and repeated every year, which I think is kind of great. And here, I'm going to bring this back, but just follow me. Here is what he said when he started it, he being Carter G. Woodson. If a race has no history, it has no worthwhile tradition. It becomes a negligible factor in the thought of the world, and it stands in danger of being exterminated. I feel like this is absolutely apropos of where we are in 2022. We're in a place all over the nation, in particular in Oklahoma, where the majority folks are basically saying, let's not talk about the history of the minorities. I was an entire adult before I learned about Native American boarding schools, because it wasn't taught in schools. There's a whole lot about African American history that I wasn't taught. Now, fortunately, I was raised by parents who insisted that we read the encyclopedia and we learn, but not because it was taught in schools. At my age now, and with the people that I know, and with my intentional awareness, I continue to learn about gender diversity, even today in 2022. If we allow the majority party to have their way, where they are saying, let's not teach uncomfortable history. Let's only teach the parts that make every white parent comfortable. And I'm going to say white parent because this is who we're talking about right now. We will relegate folks like me. We will relegate our LGBTQIA2S plus neighbors into not having their history taught. Native Americans, Latinx Americans, we will relegate them to not having traditions, to being negligible in the world. That is not acceptable. And that is why we have to fight. We have to make sure that when our legislators say one parent can ban a book for an entire school, that there's somebody there to push back on that, because that right now is a piece of legislation that will be considered in the Oklahoma legislature. One parent can say, I don't want that book. Then that book has to be removed from that school. And if the school doesn't do it, it's a $10,000 a day fine. It's out of hand, folks. We have got to reel this back in and remember that we are all better for knowing each other, that our diversity is our strength. And so when folks ask, because today we're talking about Black History Month, because that's where we are. But when folks ask, why do we need a Native American History Month? Why do we need a Women's History Month, Hispanic American History Month? It's because if we don't talk about it, it will go away. It will be diminished, or it may give way to what happened in the 1920s when the great myth started in America, in the South, where they tried to rewrite the history of the Civil War and call it the War of Northern Aggression and all of that nonsense. That is what we are up against 100 years later. And it is political. So for the people who think that, you know, you don't do politics, you want to stay away from politics, politics is part of your life every day. This is why. Pay attention to who you are voting for. Pay attention to what they stand for. Because we have enough legislators, and some of them have to go. We have enough legislators who believe that we can censor history, that we can only talk about a piece of history. Let's not talk about gender. Let's not talk about women. Let's not talk about non-white folks in history. We can't let that happen. We've got to elect more Democrats. You knew it was coming back to that. We've got to elect more Democrats. And so what you can do is help me find a candidate or be a candidate. You have 2.5 months to make that decision and be filed. Find a candidate, be a candidate. And once you find a candidate, support that candidate with your time, your resources, your money, because that's what's going to take to displace some of these folks who aren't thinking about what's important for all of Oklahoma. I want to wrap it up with this. This was the end of the quote from Carter G. Woodson. He said, if you can control how a man thinks, he will find, I'm paraphrasing, he will know his place and stay there. That's what our legislators are going for. Let's remind them that our place is where decisions are made. That is where our place is. This is what we're up against. Find a candidate, be a candidate. Make sure you vote next Tuesday and have a great day. And I'll see you tomorrow at 4:15.